how do I be like represent myself and to the world without being like a fake, overly zealous YouTuber? But how do I also be like kind of just chill enough that I'm not, rattling like a like a mad like a chicken with its head cut off. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna start it because I don't know. My name's Andrew. Okay, I like books. I like three things. Books. It's like the three B's. Books. Wait, no. Music. That's not a B. I guess it. I don't know. Books, music, and occasionally sketch stuff, like video-oriented stuff, like music videos and stuff. That's very rare. That's like in any other category. But I don't know. I guess I like anything creative. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what this channel is. Because I just started it, and it's on the same channel, and I'm not gonna do like another take of this. I'm just gonna pretty much wheel into it, and then I'm gonna edit it out later. Hopefully. But yeah. As you can see, this is my room. It's like what I like to call an organized mess. It's like it's not. Everything is where I need it to be, but like it's like everything. As these lights, LED lights, always bring out the worst truth. It's like, oh, like there's like dust and layers and just clouds of it everywhere. I didn't even know that. Just because I'm so used to just standard daylight. So, and you can tell I usually don't do this type of thing. So, I'm usually behind the scenes, and I've been pretty much saying, oh, for months and months, maybe even years. I don't know. It's been that long that I don't even know what it is I want to do on this channel. Like, what do I want to do? Like, I'm not like a steady YouTuber. The only things I've done are like collaboration type stuff that's been kind of clandestine, kept in the background, and then, but the type of stuff I'm looking to do near future is just mainly like book reviews. So music I've been doing, that's kind of like an ancillary passion. Like they're kind of like they're kind of like on the same plateau, or they're kind of on the same terrain, I guess. They're like abreast with one another. It's like music sometimes goes up, and I'm like, I'm just a very terrible musician trying to be like a writer slash, literary guy. And then there's another part of me that's like, I'm just a horrible, I'm a horrible writer. It's basically the inverse of that. I'm either whatever it is, I can't find myself to fully commit. Like, yes, I wrote one book, which is out on Amazon, but I'm trying to get it. It's pretty much done. It's been done for like well over a year now, technically, like as far as a full manuscript. But then there's a whole editing process. There's getting an illustrator, which is in the works now, and it's just like, yes, I've been dragging my feet, and but I'll admit that. I'll try to get that out the door, out of the open. But also, I find the publishing process to be very, very difficult, especially if you're a niche writer, writing more in like the weird type of magic realism type of arcane, mystical type of thing, where it's like, ooh, you'll only understand this if you've read, Gogol or Dostoevsky or Kafka, and then you look at the amount of people out there who know who those are, and it's like millions and millions, and like there's so many of these people, and it's this weird economy. It's just weird. Maybe not a dichotomy, but it's this weird effect, I guess, where there's like way more like-minded people than you think, and maybe I've just been underestimating that effect, maybe. But like, yeah, I'm fine with it. That's the game I'm trying to play. Is like, I'm fine with it being shot out into cyberspace and being like, this will never, maybe printed copies that I'll try to do with Ingram Spark, which is another process thing that I've been dragging my feet on. And basically, if people listen to it, it's like this video. It's like, I don't know what's going to become of it, and that's the kind of catch-22, because like you want to start something, right? And you want to dig your toes in, and then there's two sides of you. Like, where am I going with this? It's basically like you part of you, like, no, it's like, it can never be done, like I can't do this, like talking in front of a camera, like it's weird because I'm like, this isn't like a physical person talking in the moment, but I'm treating it for like a compensatory thing that'll be edited up and tightened up later, so I'm not actually being 100% authentic here. I'm trying to be like, hey guys, but I'm not trying to be like the YouTubers on, the type of, I don't know, YouTube gang type pranksters, social media, Instagram stars or whatever. They're like, what's up guys? I mean, my what's up guys? Like, isn't, it's my, hey guys. it's not as as, you know, gregarious or garrulous as them. So I hope that I can kind of just start small, do some book reviews. I got hella books right here. Surprisingly, most of which I've actually read because they've been on my, all of them have been there quite a few years collecting. Some of them collect dust, some of them haven't. Some of them I finally got to over COVID. Like the last couple of years, I just kind of like made reading more of a habit. I mean, I've been into reading, you know, since late teens, early 20s as like a serious side hobby, but like I think it wasn't until then that I found like, oh crap, I have a lot more time on my hands, and if I want to get through all these books, I'm gonna have to. And I also tried putting challenges like I have to read XYZ amount of books a year, so there I've put that challenge on me too, and I'm counting audio books as well. So I'm not sure if that's really a cheat or not. Some people say, oh, I prefer this or that, or you know, some people find they swear by like, ooh, a paperback, physical, hard copy of the book. Like you can't. But I don't really see that because like I've also had to commute for work. Sometimes like, you know, hours to a job or whatnot, and it's been like I've had like tons of hours, you know, all that time on my hand, and I'm like, hey, why not be proactive and try to actually listen? I'm not acting like this is anything new. It's like, you guys heard of audiobooks? Like, I'm like the only person on the planet that listens to them. It's pretty cool. I don't know. Anyway, I guess what I'm just trying to. This is just kind of a brain dump. Oh, I hate that term. It sounds kind of new agey. But no, this is just gonna be a more. Heck, even like setting this up, like I've been putting this off like all day, all week, even like just being like, no, I'm working on my book, I have to do this, and then just the act of getting the lights in and getting this, and you know, I'd like to eventually get a better camera than this, you know, kind of outmoded DSLR. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like I've been over the past, you know, years, maybe several years. I've been kind of at a loss of what I'm doing because I kind of do a lot of things part way. Like I'm like, well, now I really want to get this literary type of thing done. I want to get at least a, you know, a debut novel published, and while also shamelessly promoting it, and I also want to, you know, I also want to make an album, which I've been doing as well, and I've been making music since I was, you know, like 16 or so. So it's like it's not as if it's this. And I have a channel that's pretty much how it's gonna work. There's gonna be one channel under the same, you know, kind of wing, I guess, where I'm just gonna put just music oriented stuff, and then there's gonna be another one, this one, which is gonna be more didactic, more. Some I don't like the video essay things too much. Like I'm very hit or miss with the video essays, but I might look into that. But it's like another thing that it's the catch-22 I'm scared of, because it's like, well, if I start this channel and I actually accrue an audience, which would be very surprising. I mean, like, you know, it's like this thing where it's like it turns into a thing where if I get an audience going on a consistent basis, and people start listening and wanting more, then I'll get like a Patreon, a thing, and it's like a coffee here. But I always feel bad about that. Like I always kind of felt bad about that. But at the same time, it's like, it's, I guess the big picture is that it's only if you actually feel that what you're getting out of it is worth like more than a cup of coffee or something. And in that case, throw me your $2 or whatever. But I really don't like advertising that. I'll try, because it's like this thing. It's like, oh, like the starving artist part of me wants to be like, no. It's like I don't want to, you know, I don't want to capitalize off of anybody. Ooh, but it's like, I don't know. It's like it's just I don't see it that way. If people, you know, as long as I try to be honest, like, hey, I'm not sure what my schedule's like. It's not like I'm going to be posting every single, you know, week even, or, you know, every single. But, you know, I'll shoot this out there into cyberspace. Nobody could see it. Tons of people could see it. I don't know. It's just like, this is all the whims and at the caprices of the internet. And the internet made of all of you beautiful people. So, if you feel compelled and you want to listen to books or book reviews, I will try to get that in, because I've had so many books that I wanted to, But I feel like my main thing, that's why I'm not going to be like, oh, this is Andrew's book reviews, because, there's so many book reviewers out there that do a heck of a good job. And many of them already reviewed books that I've read and stuff, so it's like, it would be this thing where if I do that, it would be more or less a thing where there's no guarantees that I'm going to be doing like, oh, every single, like I said, like an actual coherent schedule, or consistent schedule. But I'll try, and we'll see where that goes. So I don't know. I'm just gonna check to see how long we've been recording here, because it's been, it's not telling me. I'm gonna get my Marco Rubio soda water. What else? Yeah, so I hope this will be like, kind of like, some of this might be going to the lifestyle vlog type of thing, but I'd like to think that because I'm more of a minimalist, I might already kind of find myself in the same place as like some other millennial YouTubers. Like, I'm hoping to talk about that too, like, talk about like what it's like in France and stuff like that too. So I'm hoping to make this a thing where it's more of like an Ernest Hemingway type of thing, where it's like what did he call it, like the type of journalism that he had was like iceberg or something, where it's like a stream of consciousness type of thing. Hoping to keep it like that, keep it afloat. We're going with that and see where it takes me. I don't know. But yeah, look to some books, I guess, to go down that rabbit hole. Oh, we lost contact there for a minute. Camera. Yeah, I forgot it had a 10-minute limit or something like that. But yeah, what I was talking about, Jung's The Red Book, because the Liber Novus, or was it Liber Secundus? Liber Novus? Yeah, in Latin or whatever. Probably butchered that. But yeah, I'd hope to get into that. I feel like taking on him, though, I'd feel like a little bit intimidated by the kind of breadth and, like the weight of his, his very simple, like, collective unconsciousness and this, and, and archetypes of, and modern man in search of a soul, like a really beautiful book. Because, I feel like he's the king of, a psychoanalyst, branching away from Freud, who was obsessed with weird repressions. No, I'm just kidding. Freud had a lot of good things to say, I think, for the time. It's like the West Cecil lecture he was talking about. Like, Freud was like coming along saying, hey, nobody else was saying these things about repression and and sex and all this repressed stuff that people talk about, and I'm just coming along and I'm just trying to figure out why, or kind of like poke at, and in that sense he needed to kind of poke at people a little bit and prod them, but that's not to say that a fair amount of his stuff isn't like kind of out, a little bit antiquated, like, just like, come on, let's move on, Freud, come on. I mean, does every successful woman's career have to be attributed to penis envy, of all things? Like, come on. Or does everything have to be a phallic symbol with you? But no, I mean, oh gosh, this is this is gonna be demonetized, but I don't care. But yeah, definitely some Tolstoy. Same thing with Tolstoy, Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky's like kind of my favorites. It's not that I find Tolstoy to be less interesting. It's just I haven't gotten the same amount of identification or the same amount of the same feeling. They're just different, kind of, and they're very much, like these moralistic, orthodox and, very creative Russian, greatest, literary heroes of all time. But I think Tolstoy, it's weird that I haven't gotten as much out of his, like, kind of big, voluminous books like War and Peace, which I've yet to finish part 2, because I have 2 different parts here. But I've gotten more, or Anna Karenina, which I really enjoyed, but I felt like I got more out of, his shorter works, kind of like his short stories, or the death of Ivan Ilyich, which is like profoundly just like it's like totally existential. It's like one, it's right up there with Dostoevsky as well. But whereas I feel it's the opposite with Dostoevsky, where it's like his big books, The Idiot, Crime and Punishment, Brothers Karamazov, Demons, Although that one took me a little while to kind of get, though, because it's been a little while. It's been like 6 years or so since I've starting with The Idiot, and I kind of like went on this marathon of just like, oh, I gotta eat up everything. I devoured it, Crime and Punishment, then, and then Brothers Karamazov, and after that, and all his short stories, Notes in the Underground, and novellas, and Poor Folk, and The Double, and, I feel like I get more out of his, like, bigger works, though, than I do out of his short stories, and that's just very, very general speaking, because it's like, even the worst Dostoevsky story for me is like, like something like, I'm not trying to, just, like, rank them, but Uncle's Dream or something, I think, like, that one was a little bit, like, The Adolescent, I have right here, I would like to, I have read it, but I felt like I rushed it a little bit, like I went to it too quickly. Same thing with something like, Infinite Jest. It's big, talking about the book. It's very popular on the bookshelf to look like a self-important college, dropout. But to my credit, I have not gone to college. But I do really like David Foster Wallace too. I feel like it's only been since last year that I really kicked in to how much I actually like that style. It just got a little while to get. It took some time to get into his style, because I read Infinite Jest over COVID, and I was just like, what is with all like the encyclopedic stuff? I didn't really know too much about Thomas Pynchon, just surface level stuff, and the idea of the postmodern style, and and I guess it actually, different critics have called him like a postmodernist, I think. Where it transcends that and goes more into the new sincerity thing, where it's like he's also kind of like not wholly dispensed with irony, but he's like talked about how irony is like can be life denying, it can be crippling. It's like in I think his essay is called E Pluribus. I'm gonna butcher that. It's like an inverse of like E Pluribus Unum, but I forget what it is exactly. But he did talk a lot. It's in one of his like larger works. I think like Consider the Lobster. It's like I think it's tucked in one of those. So I've listened to it. And yeah, I feel like because I might have read some reviews and before I read it myself, which I'm trying to dispense with, just because it's like it has to be an experience that you have. So I'm definitely planning on rereading it. But I'm also trying to get to the tail end of I've gone through not his entire discography. I'm sorry, not discography, bibliography. I'm definitely leaving stuff out there. I've written it all down somewhere. But yeah, but yeah, I've definitely when I get to that, I always tell myself it's like, oh, I'm gonna reread this book after I'm done. And it's like it's gonna take years because I'm kind of moving on, and and I do occasionally look back and like try to like reread important formative parts of books that I feel are really resonated with me. But I try not to like, I don't know, like Proust is another thing another guy I'm gonna have to go through again, and I'm trying to slowly work my way through. I've read Swan's Way, and yeah, I really like the style. I really like the modernist, style that he has. In Search of Lost Time. It's like like one of the biggest books of all time. And not to say that having a big book doesn't necessarily mean everything. Doesn't necessarily mean that equate to you. Having there are people who kind of just waste words. Like I listened to Thomas Pynchon's Gravity Rainbow, and I personally just didn't like it all too much. Like, it seemed to be similar to David Foster Wallace type of thing going on there a little bit, but. I'm sorry, I'm totally parched here. Yeah. But like I said, there seemed to be like a similar thing going on, but I felt it was like a little bit too like left field for me. I don't know, just like it kind of either went over my head or maybe it was just not written for my time, I guess. I don't know, but I'll try to give Pynchon another go. It's like Caring of Lot. Was it The Crying of Lot 31 or 39? I forget. But yeah, definitely I'll try to civvy this out, figure out what I want to review in the future, see what happens. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it there because I probably rambled for way too long, and I'll see you in the. I want to say see you in another life, brother, like Desmond from Lost, even though I haven't even seen that show in years. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. I hate saying peace out, but peace out. I'll see you in another life. There.